Joining me now, North Dakota Democratic Senator Kent Conrad. He's also chairman of the Powerful Budget Committee. So, Senator Conrad, we've talked about some of the challenges in the House and potential concessions to this bill as it now exists. What concessions are you willing to make if they do come up in the House and the bill comes back to the Senate?
Well, I would certainly be willing to change the estate tax provisions, which I think are not fiscally responsible. The difference between what I proposed in the budget and what is in this plan is far more generous to the top 1/4% of the people in this country and would cost the Treasury over 10 years $100 billion. So I would be certainly willing to change those provisions. And if the House has a better idea on other things, I, for one, would certainly be open to them. Look, at the end of the day, what we have to ask ourselves is this. If a package like this does not pass, what is the effect on the economy? The best advice we have got from a broad array of economic analysts is that if we fail to have a package of this sweep and scope, that the economy could be very adversely affected next year. Economic growth could be cut by as much as 50% if we fail to get a package that has some of these key elements, especially the tax cuts for the middle class.
Senator Conrad, you said you're open to some other provisions, but how concerned are you about timing then?
I'm always concerned about timing. As you know, it's very difficult, especially in the Senate, where it takes a supermajority to move legislation. And that means 60 votes, and we're getting close to Christmas. But I think we'll be here into the Christmas week in order to get an important result for the country. And at the end of the day, that's what's most important. Are we going to have continued economic growth? Are we going to have a reduction in unemployment? That is absolutely essential to our economic future. And for those who are especially concerned about the deficit and the debt, as I am, let me just say, job one is to get the economy growing more strongly and get unemployment down. That's job one. Then we can pivot and deal with the deficit and debt longer term.
Well, you mentioned Christmas coming up, and it's the analogy of a Christmas tree has been used to describe this bill with some of the extra add-ons and what some are calling stimulative initiatives that are attached onto a bill that was really about tax cut extensions and the extension of jobless benefits for so many Americans. How do you reconcile that yourself with looking at this bill and what maybe some thought it was going to be to what it has become now?
Look, there are some things I really don't like here, some things I intensely dislike. But we've got to keep in mind the overall effect of this package. And so if we look at the big elements, tax cuts for the middle class, extension of unemployment benefits, a partial payroll tax holiday, we know, based on the best economic advice Congress and the President are getting, that those are very important to economic growth for the future.
So Senator Conrad, I only have about... I'm sorry, I apologize for cutting you off. We only have about 30 seconds here, and this issue about debt and tax reform is something you've talked a lot about. And I was just curious, do you see higher taxes on the horizon for all Americans as a way to deal with our deficit?
I don't think higher tax rates would be good. I do believe that tax reform that would eliminate some of the deductions, credits, exclusions, loopholes would be healthy, would make the country more competitive, combined with actual reductions in rates. We know from the commission, the debt commission, that that could generate more revenue that could be used to reduce the deficit and, again, bring down rates to make America more competitive. So I don't think raising rates is the answer.
Senator Conrad, so good of you to join us on a busy day. As we understand, a vote could really happen anytime this afternoon, sir. Thank you very much for joining us on Happening Now.
You bet.